And look, that's not. I feel like she's one of those artists where I feel like low key is like it's not fair because, like you said, her style is so like simple, but it's so like purposeful. Like I can't really explain it. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you
It's
look at it, you're like, man, I could do that. Then you try, you're like, nah, I
no,
can't
yeah.
do that.
Hola, everybody! Welcome to the Saturday FM Making Manga podcast. And there was a lot to go over today. As most of you may have heard, we've dropped a lot of heavy announcements. So we're just going to go over all of that today. This is White Manga, the creator of Apple Black, published here like Saturday AM, where I am also co-founder. Somebody else take on the baton, please.
My name is Jay Odin. I am the creator of Hammer. I'm also the artist on the Rick and Morty manga. And I'm just super excited to talk about everything today. So, Raymond?
Yep, Raymond Brown, co-founder, Saturday AM, creator of the series Bully Eater, and glad to be up in here.
Yes. Today is a momentous day.
It is, man. Dude, it's very exciting, bro. Like
today is a momentous day. We are gathered here today.
Dude, we've done some cool stuff over the years, but a lot of the stuff that's coming out now is like really like speaking to me, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, we've been a lot. Again, it's momentous, really, because now the people know, but we've known.
We've known for a minute, yeah.
Yeah, we've been
embargoed.
Shoot, embargo's been lifted. We've been in fact, there's stuff that we still know that we can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not even everything. That's literally not even everything that we announced.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other stuff, but it's not appropriate to discuss them yet.
It's like a Gatling gun of announcements. Like you would just see video after video after video. It's just like, gee, what? It's like,
Fred was on his Luffy-ish.
Exactly.
All right, so for those who are lost, you can find all the announcements. In some places you'll find the announcements in press. Finally, some press, and some news outlets. But definitely you find it on our social media website, I believe. If not, then eventually. But definitely on Instagram with some videos to boot. I always wondered if I could share screens here, but there's no need. One day, when the budget for this podcast increases,
when the budget increases,
budget for this podcast increases, we will get more juice. You
still see the announcements on Reddit as well. For everybody out there that has a Reddit, definitely follow us there. Not sure if you guys knew, but we've been constantly putting stuff on there. So definitely come check us out.
All right, so let's kind of just go over. First things first, I believe an issue dropped recently. Issue 170.
Yeah, but I mean that was like a couple weeks ago. But I mean,
it's not part of the but you gotta ease into it. You know what I'm saying?
It's there. It's good. So
yeah, so y'all can go read issue 170. Get up to date with all the series that are inside with the latest releases. I believe Clock Striker's on the cover. You can get that app.saturday-am.com, or you can, if you have the app already on your phone, you can just read the issue there. But again, you can read it on desktop if you're having issues. So that's
the latest 3 issues actually.
Yeah, you read the latest 3 issues of Saturday AM and the latest issue of any other magazine that we got with Brunch and PM, right? And then, outside of that, I believe Fred was at Animazed, and he was able to showcase some of our stuff there, our books. Saturday Wars, again, guys, you guys can still go get Saturday Wars. That's still fresh. I wish I had a book real quick in my hand.
I put mine back on my shelf. I'm regretting it.
No, hold on. Yeah, there we go. You got some here.
Yes.
So hopefully you guys go check that out. We talked extensively in the last episode with the main artist. Yeah,
yep.
Sweet Tooth Eddie. So make sure you guys go check that out. Eddie, I know he's not human. He looks like a giant chewed gum with teeth.
He's the gum that chews you.
how does he draw? How does it? That's above my pay grade. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But hopefully you guys go check that out.
So that's
What did you guys think of the first announcement? The first announcement was, I guess, the reveal of Gunhild Volume 1 and 2.
well, this would be Volume 3 for Gunhild, right?
Oh yeah, Volume 3 rather. Sorry, so Volume 1 and 2 are out. So Volume 3 and Gunhild Volume 2, by the way, also won an award, the same award that Clock Striker Volume 2 and the light novel won for the CBC Children's Council Favorites Award. But it's basically talking about Volume 3 coming out 2026. What do you guys think?
Yep. I mean,
Yes.
I love Gunhild. I also love Fred Tortiger too, man. Like I've got a chance to meet her 2 times now, maybe 3, I can't remember. But like, she is the definition of cool. Like, she is so cool.
Yeah, there's a hipness to her.
And yes, that's the right word, hipness. Yeah, she's like super hip. Like, I feel like an old dude talking to her, and she's just like, yeah, go ahead, old man. That's cute.
She's like that hip, chill European
Artist.
You know?
I was actually looking through my pictures on my phone, and I came across Saturday Con, and I was like, man, I need to make a video of all these. Like, there was the video where all of us gave the picture to Fred, and like I have that on my phone and like everything. Like, so there's a few videos with Fred like just saying hey to the camera and all that. Yeah, she's really cool. But I totally agree. Gunhild is like it's such a good story. Like it's simple and like really detailed at the same time. Like, I don't know how to really explain it. For everybody out there that's read it, definitely do so. It's all in color as well, so it's pretty cool.
And look, that's not. I feel like she's one of those artists where I feel like low key is like it's not fair because, like you said, her style is so like simple, but it's so like purposeful. Like, I can't really explain it. It's like, you look at it, you're like, man, I could do that. Then you try, you're like, nah, I can't. Do that.
Yeah. I like. She's also kind of stylish, low-key. And then I like the one thing about Gunhild that stood out to me was the fact that I guess 2 things, but it's kind of the same. Obviously, is Norse mythology, but it's Norse mythology in a way that you've never seen before. In the same way you've never seen like Lore Olympus style stuff. I think this one is done in that cool way that's authentic to her, and that you've never seen Thor or Loki like this. I tell you, you've never seen any of them like this, right? And it's not even about the guys, about this Jotun, or Jotunheim, whatever. That again, she being European and where she's from, Denmark, all of that. There is also an authenticity to it where like she can talk about it extensively and talk about like she can watch Thor. She could be watching Thor and everybody's like, Thor shit. She's like, that's not accurate. I mean, it's like, no, he's not the god of, no, that's not the god of what? No, that's not. So it's like just a part of her. She doesn't need to do that much research, but obviously she's taking liberties,
Well, another thing that I thought was really, really cool. I think she said this in one of the one interview. Definitely, I believe she said it when we were all on stage at one point. Yeah. But she said that when it came to Gunhild, and the reason why Gunhild is a Jotun and like she's kind of an outcast and all that, it's because Fred herself is like, she was adopted and like, she now lives in Denmark, but her like roots, I believe, are from like, was it the Philippines or somewhere else?
Colombia?
Yeah, it's somewhere else, and like so it makes it feel even more real because like you can tell that she's like maybe not to the extent that Gunhild went through.
Yeah.
You mean Fred can't shoot fire and breathe fire? What are you talking about?
She doesn't want to be a god.
I think she's gonna be her god in art, I guess. She's pretty awesome in that regard. But no, I just thought that was really cool to definitely bring that aspect to the character. And to show the emotions in such a way, like I think she did a really good job with the characterization of all that.
Yeah,
So
yeah. She's done some stuff. She's gotten other awards. She's worked with like the Ed Piskor stuff. She's cool. She's cool. She's done a lot of stuff, right? And then also I'm proud of the fact that she also came through like our kind of funnel with the March of Madness, Summer of Manga, and stuff like that to get into the network. And it's always cool to have somebody who not necessarily came from nothing, but it's like who really like worked their way to now having books worldwide and now even more stuff happening. And she's just chilling. All this stuff is just she's just chilling. Even that we'll talk about it, but the fact that her book was also the only book in our line that is full color, right?
Sure.
Yeah, Austin and I were talking. It's like, yo, she's ahead of the curve. She saw something that we didn't see.
I remember when I saw her, I asked her about that. I'm like, I was she had just finished volume 1, and I was like, "You gonna do it again for volume 2?" She's like, "Yeah." Like, God bless you. God bless you.
Yeah, it's good. Like you said, is that like there's a simplicity to it, but it's definitely on purpose because it still like pops. It still wows, right? It still has the stylistic way of how she does work with color. Again, similar to like that lore. It's not like Lore Olympus at all, but it's similar not just in the sense that you're reimagining that mythology, but then the art style also is kind of very unique, in a good way. So I'm excited for that. We're all excited for that. She will cook as we expect her to usher in Ragnarok and all that Yodelay, Jotunheim, all that stuff. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Then we got the next announcement for Underground's next volume. Underground, obviously, as you guys know, won the 18th annual Japan Manga Awards. It was bronze, and it was the first. First off, it reps at the end, so shout out JR. But rep JR as well. It was pretty much the only American published manga to win any award, and so we're proud of JR for that. I believe there's even going to be a ceremony that they're invited to. Fred's, I believe, going to have a little speech there at some point. So that's go ahead.
I think he's driving like this weekend or now.
No,
yeah.
I think he's there like now, or he'll be there like in the morning. Or
yeah.
Like,
so that's so all of that will be cool. And so now JR, did the announcement for Volume 2 of Underground. This underground mixed martial arts, Baki meets Vagabond type thing going on. Him also being a second degree black belt comes in handy. You can tell with the way he kind of structures the story, and you go into the mind of the fighters and things like that. But what are you guys' quick thoughts on the release of Underground Volume 2? Very stellar art.
Well, I'll start. I want to say, I'm super proud of JR, and if you're listening, JR, you're welcome.
Yeah,
I got you here. I got you here.
This is all Raymond. All Raymond's doing.
You know what? I could have took the award home myself, but I said, you know what? I'm gonna let JR, because they know that I put like the literal definition of "I put you on." That's what that was.
This is the most I put you on moment of all time in the history of comics. In the history of comics, JR owes you everything. He would not be drawing. He won't draw as anywhere near as cool as he draws, if not for Raymond Brown. He took your advice.
If it wasn't for that portfolio review we did all those years ago, where I looked over his stuff, you know what I mean, held back my pride because I saw that he was clearly better than me, but I put that aside, and gave him, and put him on the path to where he's at now, to having 2 amazing books and awards. And hey, I'm super proud of my guy.
Without Raymond, JR would be homeless right now.
Yeah, I ain't gonna go that far, but yeah. So I'm very, very proud of him, man. This is really cool stuff, man. I can't wait to read Volume 2, man.
Jay?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. When I got Volume 1, I had ordered it in the mail, I believe, or like maybe they just sent me a copy. I'm not really sure, but I immediately picked it up and I couldn't put it down until I was done with Volume 1. I was like, this is really, really good. It read like a movie. I was just really like blown back, and I was like, man, I mean, I already enjoyed JR stuff from Saturday PM, but he had to rework and like redo a lot of the chapters. So that was like one of the biggest things to make me like keep on reading, because I was like, I don't remember this. I mean, obviously it changed it, and like I kept on saying, okay, what were the new changes, and like I don't know, it was just really interesting, and to see that like it is blown up to where it's at now, being like you said, the bronze winner of that international manga award. They're about to go get something in New York. Like he deserves all the accolades. He's definitely a great talent, and wish him the best for Volume 2. I can't wait to read it. I'm very excited to see what Kareem is going to do to this evil dude. Like I think it's gonna be really fun to just binge read it again. So yeah, I'm really excited for sure.
Yeah, I rebuke that. Again, it's Raymond gets all the credit, not JR.
Agreed.
And so,
thanks, Jay. I appreciate that.
Just so we clear that up. But I remember talking to JR in New York, and how if you remember with the book deal, like you said, he had to rework a certain amount of stuff, which is crazy because even the stuff that ran in Saturday PM, there was some good stuff in there that we're just never going to see. Probably it's just out there, deleted scenes. That's why you can have like a deleted scenes at the end of Volume 2. Throw that in there post credit, and see now if he wins an award for that, and he does put that post credit, now it's me and Raymond that get the credit. But
actually, you know what? Just a free game. If you subscribe, you can go back and look at all the issues, and you can go back and look at stuff
that you've never seen before.
Yeah, of all our stuff, actually.
Yeah, because we changed. Yeah,
Once you subscribe, all the issues are unlocked for you. All the way back to issue 1. Oh Lord,
yeah. So I mean, JR did machine work, because again, it's not like his style is obviously unique to him, but it's like really detailed, right? It's on that, like it's trying to achieve that vagabond-esque type stuff, right? And so imagine trying to do that, no assistance really, and you're doing that. You have to rework all this stuff. You're thrown into the den, right? Because the book deal came, everything's not moving fast. Okay, we need this, we need that. The pages, okay, no text on the pages, and this. It still needs to look good, and here's a deadline. And sometimes people are dealing with stuff in real life. You know what I mean? So it's not easy, especially when in the beginning when doing comics, it's rarely, you have to be super lucky for it to be as rewarding, right? So he did a lot of like machine work to get that. So I think 100% he deserves that. I was talking to him in New York, and he was talking about how all that stuff came together, and he was talking about if he had to do it, obviously doing it in Volume 2, there's a lot of things that he would do even better. So I'm excited for that. I remember seeing the cover for the first time. I was like, okay, this is like that. This was one of the books I was excited to see, right? And it just everything, the way it was put together, and obviously Joshua with the great design work. I knew this was going to cook. You know what I mean? And the reviews reflect that. The awards reflect that. And congrats to him, and congrats to getting volume 2. I'm sure people are waiting for it because it's been like a year, I think. So, let me see here. Jay, were you going to say something?
No, I was going to say, has it been a year and a half, or has it just been a year? Like, time is an illusion.
A year-ish. Now we're just in a time vortex now as artists. You just kind of sit down and draw. Whatever happens after that.
Time's good. Yeah, like you just
you're
just drawing, and you wake up and like everybody's 3 years older or something.
Yeah, you come out with a beard, and you just like
This happened with my trading art.
Yeah. Think about it. Yeah, Jay, you're doing it, but you're drawing, and then you come out and you have a kid. Boom.
Yeah.
There you go.
He said dada.
Hey, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Imagine that JJ drawing in his cave. He comes out and then he has the kid. The kid's like, "Who are you?"
or better yet, he's like drawing, and like he's like, all of a sudden somebody tapped my shoulder. Hey, Dad, you want something to drink? Look, who are you? He's like 14. It's like it's only been 3 days.
You've been on this chair for 80. You've been drawing for 84 years.
Yeah, right.
Working on this chapter, like really?
Yeah. So, Jay's son would be like stud. It's like, where's my dad? Has to go into his books.
Oh, for real? Yeah,
he needs to go into his books to find out where Jay is somewhere inside Hammer. It's like, where's Jay?
Oh man, life imitates art or whatever, or art imitates life. Yo, that's crazy.
Yo, and Jackson turned his hand into like pencils to draw.
I hope that I am not anything like Tool from Hammer. Like that is, oh man, that's horrible. That's
Anime dad, bro. Anime
dad of the year.
They gotta be terrible. It's like part of the.
They got to be.
It's part of the lore. Like even in our stuff, I don't want to spoil. It's not. Let me not even say anything. But it's like it's just part of the. It's part of the. It's rite of passage. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta do it.
The formula. It's like Disney characters. Like the main character can't have a mom and a dad. Like like one of them needs to be dead.
You can't be. You can't be that happy. What are you doing being that happy? Well, where's the story? Where's the story if you're not traumatized? Where's the trauma?
Yeah.
Give me trauma.
How the inner beast gonna come out if you're having a good life, man? How can the inner beast come out?
Exactly.
The inner
you can't be happy all the time. All right. So I'll go to the next one. This is a light novel announcement. It's an isekai. You know all this light novels, vertical scroll stuff. They love their little isekai stuff. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. That time my ex-girlfriend was
Don't you love the titles now? The titles are full sentences.
Yeah, sentences, paragraph.
Paragraphs, bro.
You know, if you search, there's like a anime or manga it's like that long. Like the title is that long. Like, oh, my uncle was a man who went to the corner of this and got shot, and then my ex-girlfriend came back with a baby that I didn't know about, and I'm a reincarnated chair. You know what I mean? Part 2.
Like, what this is about then, huh?
Part 2, right? Yeah, so we're announcing our own, and it's Fred at the helm, called "To Save the World, I Became a Supremacist." Now, what do you guys thought? What do you guys thought?
So, I have not heard the story. I've heard that Fred is very excited to tell this story. I don't know what this is about, but I saw like one image and like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looked like, wait, what?
Anthony?
Yeah, he drew it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That one that was in the post.
Yeah.
Well, what I was saying is, correct me if I'm wrong, but it looked like the guy from Jujutsu Kaisen. It kind of resembled like his outfit in a way, or at least that's the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah, color scheme, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I don't know anything about the story. Just based off of the title, I can assume that it might cause some type of controversy, or at least
it's gonna do his job.
I was going up, and I think that's obviously on purpose.
Yeah,
but I'm looking forward to seeing how it'll all work out.
I mean, this will be a short conversation. I know nothing. Fred's keeping that. So,
but what? Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, it's one of those things that I don't even read. You know, I'm not a big reader, but I'm going to read that because I got to know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, I got to check it out. So I'm
what do you guys feel when you first hear the title?
What is he going to go? Where is he going with this? That's my first thought. Where is he going? Where is Mr. going with this?
Is it trying to get us canceled?
All right.
That's what comes to mind. I'm like, what is this?
Well, it says when Mikhail or Mikhail, I don't know how you. I'll say Michael. Let's just say Michael. When Michael ends up on another world, he must decide to join the powerful alien dynasty to lead them away from conquering Earth or fight them. That's all we got. So I guess Michael is the one getting isekai to this alien world. So, you know, with that description, it doesn't tell us much, but you know, alien dynasty. So we know we're going to see some weird stuff. And then I don't know if you guys look at the image. I like the logo, by the way, but I don't know if you guys look at the image. But if you go look at the image real quick, he's doing the meme. He's doing the cinema meme.
Cinema meme. What you mean?
Have you seen what's that director? The director, he did Shutter Island. He works with Robert De Niro a lot. He was throwing shade at the Marvel movies, you know, the comic book movies.
Oh, dang.
Martin Scorsese.
There you
And
go.
what?
There you
Yeah, Martin Scorsese.
Okay.
So there's a meme of him just doing like this, and it says cinema.
go.
Do you know the meme?
No,
So
but I can picture
it's
it.
almost like, oh my god, this is so good. It's a cinema. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But if you look
yeah.
at the guy, he's doing the exact same pose. And I don't know if that
Wow.
was on purpose. I don't know if this is going to have a little bit of humor. I don't know
That's
if it's
highbrow right there, man. Yeah, man. That's
yeah,
highbrow right there. That's
yeah. I don't know exactly what's going to be going on here, but that's one thing I just looked at it again and I was like, ooh, because the pose is exactly the pose. Even the chair, the lighting. It's just that this one then has two characters behind
right.
who I guess are, other aliens, but the title definitely has got me interested. I think people who like this type of stuff, if they come and they read a title like that and you see some of Anthony's arts, they're gonna pick it up, and you've done half
Yeah.
the job right there. You know what I mean?
And now that I think about it, we don't really have anything that I can think of. Do we have anything with aliens? Maybe Oblivion. You could argue Oblivion. Really.
Titan King.
Titan King.
Yeah, Titan King. Well, yeah, that's real alien heavy. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would say
that's
Oblivion also, and
Oblivion Rouge. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's kind of a cop out, but I would say Hammer is not on Earth. So I mean,
Yeah, you can play that technicality. Okay, all right.
If you start playing that, then it's like a lot of the stuff is not.
True,
Yeah,
exactly.
or at
So,
least you can make that argument that this isn't Earth. You know what I mean? Or it's a different dimension, or blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But when it's like specifically, aliens, they're called aliens. I think it's just Titan King and Oblivion Rouge and
Orsha.
Maybe Orsha.
Kinda. Yeah,
Maybe.
kinda. They coming off planet.
It's
Yeah.
more like
Okay.
God. It's the same way you can look at Thor and call him an alien. So it's more of like gods and mythology, but it's technically kind of maybe aliens, kind of sort of maybe, but it's more of like on the African mythology realm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's cosmic and alien and yada yada yada. So it's a gray area, but definitely aliens. We're talking Titan King for sure.
Yeah. Alien.
So this one, I'm excited to see what it's about. I'm excited to see how it's received. I think people who like this genre, I think would definitely pick it up, especially with these times you hear the word supremacist. You're just like, yeah. All right, so the next one is Grimheim. Grimheim, the creator of Grimheim, not only another Summer of Manga alumni, by the way, and she also won another award, a first place winner at the 2025 Dokomi Dojinshi contest in Germany. There's like a picture of it, repping. Everybody just repping, winning awards. We need more awards. Like this is great. But Grimheim, very berserky, very Claymore-y, very Evil Dead, and it's fun stuff where it's getting a digital release for, I believe, a volume 1 finally. So what do you guys think about that?
I'm excited.
I love to see it. Christina's like an ultra hard worker. I mean, she's been working on Grimheim for almost as long as Saturday has been around in some fashion or another. Because I think I remember back when it was more like kind of like a Joan of Arc type story.
Yeah.
And then it evolved into what it is today, where it's like the berserk. You know what I mean? And I'm glad for it. And also low key, I'm a little scared of Christina because like some of the demons she be drawing, I'm like, where did that come from?
It's the European.
That's twisted. Where did that come from? Like I'm thinking about the little kind of cloud baby bubbly thing that's in the. I'm like, man, Christina, what you on?
You see Christina, it's just so happy and joy.
Yeah, right. Exactly. She's so cool and chill, and then she start drawing and stuff. I'm like, yo, oh my.
I mean, the Joan of Arc thing, yeah, that was her Summer of Manga, if I'm not mistaken. And she's a phenomenal artist. Her backgrounds are like top tier.
Cinema.
Like they're so detailed. And it's like it's so like it pushed me to shame because I'm like, I can't draw backgrounds at all. I mean, I'm just like, man, you're so good at this. And like I actually do this every now and then where I'll go back and I'll read one series and a bunch of different issues so that way I can catch up to like the latest issue. And I did that with Grimheim when I think it was on like chapter 5, maybe 6, or I got up to the current one, and I read it all in bulk, and it was such a good story. So I'm really looking forward to like the entire volume. I think anybody that picks it up, it's a digital release, but like anybody who gets it is gonna definitely have a lot of fun checking out this awesome what is it, muscle mommy, is that
Yeah.
what is that?
Also, Muscle Mommy. It's kind of like there's like if you're into wrestling, there's somebody called Rhea Ripley that people always put in that camp as well. So I like the idea of like a Joan of Arc meets Berserk thing going on, and like you said, she's been doing this for a while. I'm happy for her, and I want to see more come out of it. And she's also gone back to improve stuff as well, and she's definitely improved compared to like a lot of us. Everybody here has improved compared to like when we first started. I'm sure we're looking at some of our old stuff, and you can nitpick little things here and there. Sometimes it's mostly going to be things that only we see, only our eyes can recognize. But I'm happy for Christina. I'm proud of Christina winning that award. Nobody else stood a chance. Yeah, you can see. I don't know if you guys saw the photos. I was just looking at it like, nah, she's taking that home, and so I'm happy. I'm happy she won, and I'm happy for the announcement. And I can't wait to see where it goes, where it continues to go. You know what I mean? It's not easy to stay consistent with what you're doing, especially like I said, a lot of this stuff is not rewarding in the beginning, and so I'm happy. I'm happy for her, and I'm seeing some dark, demented things like Raymond said. I'm just like, the first image is somebody hanging, if you know what I'm saying. And so I'm just like, okay, this is what we're doing. Okay. And I like her style too. Like you guys said, the backgrounds are great, and then where she takes time to add like this little splash of color. I think that's
those pop colors are cool.
That's a nice Christina signature as well. But yeah, she's improved lettering, art, anatomy. Backgrounds have always been her specialty, but she's even improved on that as well. And so the tones, very seinen stuff, and I can't wait to see more. But yeah, let's see what we got next. The next one, this was just Fred. This was like a Juneteenth celebration where Fred got to showcase all of our books, and people got to go to the anime store and check everything out and buy our books. And again, it's just even seeing the visual of all of our books together. If you remember back in 2013, just the idea. Like all the stuff we've had to deal with to get to this point is wild, and to know that there's still a lot of work to do, that's just the way it is. You get to this point, and it's like you still got to go ham. You have to
and that before we move on, I would say teaching them, that's the common theme. You know what I mean? Like I said, we always want to target the stuff towards new creators, new manga artists that are coming up, and you're gonna hear us say it over and over again. Consistency is key. Consistency is key. Just don't give up. Stay in it. If you got to take a little break, sometimes take a break. We'll come right back to it. Just keep doing it.
Even when you win, sometimes you win. Your winning is just you being placed in the position to where now you got to work even harder.
Yeah,
because it's like because prior to this, it's like, oh man, you want to get in stores, you want to this, you want to that. Okay, now you get in stores. Oh, now you got to sell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, keep going. Yep.
Now you got real deadlines that actually people are counting on you for.
Yeah, deadlines where it's like it's not just you and your little shed, figuring out I'll post it when I post it. No, it's deadlines with like a whole machine behind it, and you can't miss it. It's like so many connected tissues, like you can't mess it up because you're held responsible for that. And you don't want to let people down. You don't want to let yourself down. And if you're really about that life and you love your work and what you want to do and your dreams and your goals, then you're going to have to go ham. But it's just one of those things where you level up and then, okay, now you have to do even more stuff now.
And when I heard it was an interview with Snoop Dogg, and he was saying, when his first CD came out or something to that extent, it was either his first CD or like one of the earlier ones. And he was like, everybody came up to him and said, hey, man, it's time to party, like, time to celebrate. He was like, well, I'm already working on the next one. Like, I don't have time to party. Like, what do you mean? And then after that one came out, he was working on the next one and so on and so forth. So, like, it's a never ending, just, hustle, like, you got to keep on feeding the beast, essentially. So, I mean, yeah, it's not like
Go ahead. Sorry.
What?
Go ahead.
I was just saying, it's not like you can just sit back and say, I'm done now. I'm like, that's not. If you do that, then that's basically it. Like, it's not gonna go anywhere. Like, so yeah, you just gotta keep on feeding more and more to it.
Yeah, this is the part of the YouTube video where it's like, okay, now if we made a short of just that, we'll put some kind of like very popular sound behind Jay, and then we cut to Snoop Dogg saying the exact same thing, and then the music rises up at that moment. It's like, you know, whatever shizzle songs in the back. Look, man. Once this grows and we have a bigger budget, all this will be a well-oiled machine. Well-oiled machine.
Keep it out for that, guys.
You have that inspirational music behind Jay, as Jay was saying all that stuff.
That's right.
You know I mean? It's like, when I was a baby, I drew 3 volumes of my manga as soon as I came out the womb. 3 volumes out. What were you doing?
Jay do an Ashton Hall, except for he drawing.
Yeah. It's like, at 10 a.m.
Yeah, for real. But his thing would be the same.
10:30.
His time would be the same shot.
3 volumes done.
That's right.
In 2 hours.
You see Jay bend over like this, 3 a.m. Then 7 a.m. He's still in the same spot.
But all the
7
books,
p.m. still
like
same spot.
50 books piled up and behind him. Just keep
Yeah, that's right.
Just keep piling.
Then I look up and I see my son, and he's handing me some water.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. He's handing you water and a cane and his diploma.
Yeah.
His diploma. He's like, finally, I found you. I found you, Father.
So, wait, the next announcement, was that Zephr?
The next announcement is... No, it is the revamped new card game. A new trading card game, collectible card game, whichever one you all want to go with. I think I hear trading card game more often, but it doesn't matter. The new card game, Big 3, love the name.
Yeah.
Love the name.
So I can tell you a little bit about this one because I somehow got involved because I was just doing something.
They roped you in?
Yeah. I was just supposed to do some designs, and I jumped on a call and started getting some ideas, and so I mean, for one, it's going to be very simple, easy to play, fast paced. It's going to obviously have all of our characters. It's going to feel kind of like the goals that have it feel kind of like a Uno type game, not necessarily like a hardcore, trading card game where like a bunch of different things going on. It could be very straightforward, but still a lot of strategy to it as well too. I'm trying to think anything else I could tell you guys.
I know from what I got, it's like Big 3. Your goal is to get a Big 3 to win somehow.
So the goal is to the game is played in rounds. So that's just what we're going for. It's played in rounds, and those rounds are called weeks. So the goal of the game is to have your Big 3 survive 10 weeks. Yeah, so that's kind of
So it's almost like the theme of like, the Big 3 of like whether it's Shonen manga, whatever era.
Yeah.
Picking, and it's like the Big 3 of that era, the Big 3 of those set of weeks, and you survive, and you're not getting canceled.
You're not literally. Yeah, you're not getting canceled.
They're not telling you, hey man, wrap it up after chapter 20.
You're done.
You wanted volume 4? Sorry. Chapter 15. 14. In fact, 14. You're done.
Or hey, you could be like the Red Hood. Remember the Red Hood artist from Shonen Jump?
Yeah.
He kind of trolled at the end, like like he knew he was getting canceled, so he like called it out in the last chapter. That was pretty.
How did he call it out?
So he basically like I can't remember. It's been so long since I read it, but the character basically calls out that like this particular world that he's in got canceled by the powers that be, and maybe he can show up again one day. I mean, it went real meta. It went super meta, And I was like, that's beautiful. That's the way you do it right there. You're like, you know what? Forget y'all. I'm going out.
How else do you? I always thought about that. It's like, imagine you're doing a story. Yeah, maybe the story is not. Sometimes the story might actually be picking up, but they will still cancel it. But imagine you're like deep into a storyline, a little arc, and you know everything's going great. But like, yeah, man, like 2 chapters, you're done. Dude, what? It makes no sense. The only way to end it is if somebody just randomly walks in, throws a bomb, and then leaves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's the only way you end that.
Well, you know what? I got a question for y'all. So on that in that same vein, so how do you find a balance of like you don't want to get to the point where like you're so married to your story that if it doesn't work out, you're like, oh, like you're not freaking out. But also, you also want to put everything into it. So how do you find that balance of like, putting your all into it, but not being so married to it that you can't pivot if you need it?
Um. Well, I think it's literally just that in the construction of it, where as you're putting it together, you're trying to do 2 things. You're trying to, and it doesn't always work out, right? Because sometimes somebody in management can still screw it up, and still, no matter how prepared you are, if they come and say, "Oh, you're done in 2 weeks," like it's for most series that would not make any sense, right? So no matter how you plan, in some cases it doesn't make any sense, right? And in some cases, maybe they'll give you, "Oh, you're canceled in maybe 10 weeks." So sometimes they'll put that into consideration as well, right? But at the end of the day, you don't want to be canceled, right? So I think it's all in how you construct it, where you're leaving room to be flexible.
Mm.
You're leaving room to be flexible while you're drawing, but at the same time, so you're doing your thing. You're telling your story the way you want to tell it and make sure it's good and all that, right? It's doing the things that you want to do as a creative. Then you're leaving room to be flexible, right? In case anything happens, forget about cancellations. In case you have a better idea, just something comes up. Forget about cancellations, because sometimes people are not really thinking of. You should be thinking maybe, but you're not really thinking about that really most times. Maybe unless you're in Japan, maybe you are thinking about it every week. But you want to be flexible for better ideas to come in, right? So you're thinking about that, and then you're also thinking about making sure that whatever you're planning, however it's like, oh, I want to do this and put this here, and okay, I'll foreshadow this. Whatever you're doing, just make sure what's happening now is still interesting. It's still peaky. It's still like, okay, people need to come. Like I always look at Death Note, right? Death Note, the beginning of Death Note, everything was good.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love that.
Everything was good in the beginning. Like because remember, you watch episode. I remember watching episode 1. Like I know, the manga maybe it's like 2 chapters to an episode, whatever. But I remember watching the episodes, and I was thinking, especially episode 1 will be like 1 chapter to 1, but then everything else is maybe kind of broken into 2. But I remember watching the anime. I was like, yo, this is interesting. But at the end of it, it's like, yo, I want more. But at the same time, I'm like, what is more? Like, where can you go from here? This dude write your name and it's done. There's no, you know what I mean? And then episode two happened, and then I was hooked. But then I was still like, how, you know what I mean? But I was interested the whole time. And they would leave you in a moment where you're like, oh, I want more, but I don't even know what more looks like. So I'm worried that this might get boring. But then they surprise you somehow with something else. Like, or even the moment where like another Death Note user came in, where Misa came in, how they introduced Misa. You think it's light the whole time until they revealed that. So that was interesting. Then they revealed Misa took the eyes. Like there's just a lot going on. It's obviously it's not easy. It's not like I have the answer to the universe of how to write the most interesting thing and I can say it in one video. It's more complicated than that. But I'm just saying that whatever he was planning, what's happening right now is interesting. What's happening right now is good. And there's room and flexibility to just do shit. It's like, oh, you know what? Let's have that a new writer, and maybe this one has the eyes, and maybe it's a girl, and then maybe she's crazy, and maybe she wants to be his girlfriend, and maybe you know what I mean? I doubt that they 100% knew all that stuff from the beginning. I feel like there was room to be flexible to add those things. And that's where maybe some of the editor will come into play. I'm sure that's the same thing with like Naruto. Naruto, a lot of times, like if you look at the one shots are very different from what it ended up being, right? The Naruto one shot has a gun in it. The Bleach one shot is very different.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It does.
Yeah. What?
and
No,
cars inside of the Naruto.
Yeah. He had guns and cars, and he was a literal fox. He would change it with it. You know what I mean? But
I remember reading that about like Kizimoto was really big on like having like the Hokage be like a dog or like some type of like a literal animal, like and the editor was
very
like shut it down.
Yeah,
he shut it
the great homage to Dragon Ball Z and the dog president.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you leave room to be flexible, and sometimes and that is on every asset, story wise, art wise. Like art wise, he kept drawing the goggles on Naruto, but then you're like, oh man, I gotta draw this every week. Nah, man, we're gonna draw headbands. I'm gonna draw headbands now. That's how headbands.
Toriyama said that's basically how Super Saiyan came about. It gave him an excuse so he didn't have to put blacks to the hair. So he was able to. He said he was like, I love this. I love the Super Saiyan. I don't have to sit here and ink the hair. Beautiful, awesome.
Exactly.
Super Saiyan all day.
Exactly. So you imagine if he wrote something that put himself in a box in the beginning, where now all of a sudden that wouldn't make sense. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay. Imagine the story. The story had to be like, oh, if Naruto gets rid of his goggles, he dies, and all of a sudden now he has to draw goggles every week. You know what I'm saying? So it's something. There's a trial and error to it where you figure it out as time goes on. There isn't like a one size fits all. But I think if you have those three things in mind, you'd be kind of safe where you're flexible, but you still want to make sure that what's happening now is interesting, right? And that was the last one I said. Flexible, make sure what's happening is interesting. There was something else, but
editor.
Yeah, that wasn't it. But I don't know. If you're watching Rewind, the previous the white manga of a couple minutes ago is smarter than this one. You know, I'm sorry.
Well, to piggyback off of what you were saying, I totally agree. I also think that obviously in Japan it's a lot more difficult, and you will have editors with you working with you, and hopefully they'll have a lot of ideas to help you as you continue with your story. But like White was saying in the very beginning, the construction of the story, depending on how you're actually creating it. Is this going to be a gag manga? Is this going to be like a mystery detective manga? Is this going to be just pure action? Like, what type of story are you actually going to be creating? And based off of that, it will help you craft even more of what can happen in the future. And, just talking about America and everywhere else that isn't Japan, what I actually talked to my patron, that I've been mentoring, and I've been telling him what you should do is plan out one volume and keep it essentially sort of open to where there could be more after that, but it also feels like a completed story. So that way, whenever you put out those 12 chapters or however many chapters are in that one volume, like if it did, let's say this was in a magazine, if it got canceled after that, like it's you're okay. I mean, if you had to do one more chapter, bring him to the beach. Like every manga has a beach chapter. So I mean, do something that basically can get your first arc finished, or an arc finished. And if there was more ideas that came, but like obviously you're getting canceled, like you're like, all right, cool, well let me try to think about those other ideas so that way I can start working on the next story after I'm done with this story. And then just try to I mean, obviously it would suck to like say, hey, you got to wrap this up in 2 chapters. Like, the only way to do that and it to be really good is if like you knew, I don't know. Like, I mean, to be honest with you, I have no idea how you would be able to make that work out to where it like feels complete. But I mean, at the same time, I really think that just being open to a lot of different avenues for your story, like that's where you really need to be able to make that happen.
I mean, but to be fair though, I mean, I know Shueisha gets a bad rap for like cutting series really fast, but they give them a good run. Like a lot of these series that are canceled, they make it to like 3 and 5, 3 to 5 volumes. You know what I mean? Like that's a good run. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I take that. I mean, and low key, I actually find myself kind of liking canceled series because you can get them all. You can like binge read them and you can read them beginning to end, and it's like it almost like feels like when you read American comics where you read like a trade paperback. You know what I mean? So it feels like that, but they spread out in different books. But
yeah,
all of Zombie Powder, and like that was only 4 volumes. and like it ends, and he was introducing characters as if it was going to continue.
Yeah,
Like
but it was still good though.
chapters. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, yeah, it just kind of I think depends on how you have your story structured.
Yeah, I think that this is also where creativity meets business, and it's like there's that same way we talked about being a producer in a movie, where sometimes stuff happens and you just kind of have to make do with what you got. And sometimes that happens when you're making comics, Saturday War, any of my books out. Sometimes it happens where, shoot, if I had more time to do certain scenes and certain panels and stuff, they would technically look better, right? Even the ones that look great, amazing, people DMing me. If I had more time, there's probably, if you ask me, hey, how can you make this panel better? I could probably think of something, right?
But that's the thing. I think it's an infinite loop, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like you literally can always think of something better, and then even if you can't, give it a year, and you can come back to it, and then I guarantee you'll find something.
It's the same thing as somebody write a script, and so I forgot who says it, but it's like, hey, when you write something, leave it alone, go do something, else, and then come back and look at it again, and then you start seeing things, right? And that's happened before. I remember if I wrote and created wrote and drew volume 4 the first time I came up with the plan of what I wanted to do, it would be nowhere near as good. It would still be good, but it's like it would be nowhere near as good as what I ended up doing. So sometimes sometimes it's time, sometimes it's just business, something happens. Like I said, everything's kind of connected. And so some domino got hit and then you got canceled. And so now all of a sudden you have only 2 chapters or 3 weeks left or so, whatever the case may be. And so it's one of those where it's like, think of it like that producer where it's like, hey man, this scene, we were supposed to do X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. You're talking to the director. This is what we're supposed to do in this scene. But let's say you guys have blown the budget. So now you don't have any. Do you guys know the story of Deadpool? Like the Deadpool movie, the first Ryan Reynolds Deadpool movie?
Mm.
Where in the beginning, in the script, have y'all seen Deadpool movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the beginning of the movie is the bridge and they're shooting, doing all the action stuff, right? They ran out of budget, and y'all can correct me in the comments or whatever. But this is the story that I've consistently heard everywhere, right? The scene that was written had more guns, it had more this, it had more that, right? But they ran out of budget, and so they had to creatively change what they had. So that if you notice, remember, he then had to I have only 12 bullets, so I'm going to kill all of you with these bullets. So if you remember that he waited for all of them to stand in a line, and then he shoots, and then the bullet goes through 3 heads, goes through 3 heads. So all that creative thing came from a lack of budget. So I can see something where it's like that day they're looking through the director and say, hey Ryan, man, like we're not gonna be able to do this. And it's like, okay, you guys just stand in the line, and you know what I mean? That's how a lot of when creativity meets business, and so you don't have infinite budget, you don't have infinite time, stuff like this happens. Yeah. It happens with music, comics, film, and sometimes to his benefit, right? Because maybe what was originally there wouldn't have been as creative. So it kind of puts you in a box where you're forced to be creative. And that was kind of thing, because the way they did it, it was like, oh, he forgot his guns at home.
Right.
But really, it was a budget thing.
Yeah. That's fine.
And I think the Deadpool, I'm not sure. I need to rewatch the scene. Deadpool might have even made a joke about that. Like, oh, it's Loki's budget. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they broke the fourth wall a few times.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's just the way of the beast. And so sometimes part of that weird moment is, hey man, you got only 10 weeks. And sometimes those 10 weeks, maybe, I'm sure there's a series out there that got canceled, and hey, you got 10 weeks. Those 10 weeks were the best 10 weeks of the whole series. Maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I won't be surprised.
The guy that did My Hero Academia, like that comic got canceled, and like it was like an epic battle, like all the way up to the end. So I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, how did we get on this conversation? We were talking about the big three, like
big three, and then you go into the big three because the whole thing is you get canceled in the video game, so it's kind of like mirroring all of that.
That you got to be the big three. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you're trying to. Yeah, I guess you're playing the card in a way. It's like you get your big three to last a certain amount of weeks with your rounds, so you don't get canceled.
Your big three is constantly getting attacked by other comics.
Yeah,
see.
Yeah, you're competing.
Nice.
You're competing.
I like.
You're competing to be ranked, and then you get
Yeah,
canceled.
that's basically the concept. Yeah. Your big three are getting attacked by other comics to try to gain popularity over it. So it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And what's cool is that we're building it from scratch with RG Games. They're helping us. They're consulting with us. You know, we're running ideas past them. They kind of giving us their expertise on like what do's and don'ts and stuff like that. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
We're still working out the rules now, and
Yeah,
we'll
sounds
be
good.
updated.
That's really cool.
Sounds good. The next thing is the Zephr. Zephr, just like Grimheim, is now getting a digital release.
Come on.
And so, you got that superhero. Is it Barbados? Bahamas. Okay. I knew that sounded wrong coming out of my mouth. But yeah, Volume 1 coming soon. And a lot of this stuff, I'm sure, even with Grimheim as well, some of it will be remastered. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see some superhero stuff out of Stanley, who is another stellar artist, and pretty excited to see different culture as well, and they're just really unique character design, very unique art style. Like it sticks out compared to everybody else, and heavy tones, and very detailed in the background and stuff like that. So sounds cool. What do you guys think?
I like the character design too. Because like I tend to look at characters as their silhouettes, and if I could recognize them, like just if there was a lineup of a bunch of different
Name that Pokemon.
So what?
Name that Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. And like I really think that Zephr stands out. Like and I like that a lot. And also the colors are pretty cool. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. That's one of the ones that I haven't finished in terms of like binge reading. But like I binge read, I think like 4 chapters, and then like that was like the only one. Like I haven't seen any more chapters, or at least at that point in time, there weren't any more chapters for me to binge. So I'm looking forward to actually reading that whenever it comes out.
Yeah, especially with the remaster stuff. I'm excited to like start with that clean slate to see everything, because I remember I was following it when it was in Brunch, and so I'm excited to see. It's always cool to see what the author or creator chooses to like tweak and change compared to what was there before. What do you think, Ray?
Well, her fun fact: her colors are actually representative of the Bahamian flag. I mean, Bahamians know that right away. They know that right away, but if anybody else don't know, that's her color scheme.
Yeah.
And then Zephr too. Let's give Zephr some credit because she came in clutch in Saturday Wars.
Oh yeah. Well, in a way, it's one of those things where we're not that big yet, so it doesn't matter. But imagine if we're like super super huge, then that would have been a spoiler. Right? Why are you spoiling it? Imagine you go into what's a big movie that's Marvel. Imagine you go into Fantastic Four and freaking, I don't know, the Hulk was in it or Blade was in it, and they just told you that. You want to see it. You know what I mean?
Are you accusing me of being Mark Ruffalo when he said everybody's going to die in Infinity Wars? You remember that?
I'm accusing you of worse. I'm accusing you of being Tom Holland. Where he just wants everything. So shout out Zephr. Just forget what Raymond said. That doesn't happen. Go buy the
book. She may or may not come in clutch.
Yeah, she may or may not come in clutch. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited for that. Bahamian culture, Bahamian mythology, and their own superhero. It's always cool to, part of what SADM is about, that authenticity, where you bring yourself into it. And that's what the Japanese do with their own comics and their own, their own lore and culture and things like that. That's part of what makes it authentic. Not that you can't do anything outside of your own culture. If you are well versed, you've done the research, you can definitely do it. You can not be Japanese and write a Japanese story. That's fine. But part of the authenticity is to be well versed, and usually you're going to be well versed and connected to it in an authentic way, especially if it's your own culture. So I'm excited to see what Stanley does. and glad to have Zephr back. So then we get into Fanboy. Now this one, Fanboy is another announcement. I believe, more details. Again, we don't want to spoil beyond the announcement, so a lot of the details are going to be coming out gradually. But this is also produced by Frederick and Frank, FS Art, who also has, like many of the people we've mentioned, Christina, Fred Tornager, and all of that. Tornager. Yeah, JR, all through the network, and I'm really proud of that. A lot of those programs are also Fred's baby, so I'm sure he's proud of all of that as well. But with Fanboy, we all know Frank is really good. He has this like really cool, slick, unique painterly style to it, and the color choices are actually quite unique. It's like you kind of wonder what's going through his mind when he's picking these colors and putting all this stuff together, and the detail and the painterly vibe and all of that. Really, really cool stuff. No idea what the story is about though. None whatsoever. It says here it's like a Kagurabachi style fighting. I know there's going to be some neurodivergent representation, but that's about it. And I like the name Fanboy. It's one of those where it's a very anime thing. It's like Fan X Boy, but you just say Fanboy. It's kind of like Hunter x Hunter. No, it's Hunter x Hunter. So
I say Hunter. I'd say Hunter x Hunter.
You say Hunter x Hunter?
I do.
You're like, right there. You're not gonna put the X there and expect me to ignore it.
Yeah, it's not a silent H. I mean, a silent X.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think of Fanboy?
I really like the art.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that cityscape that he drew was crazy.
Yeah.
Man, I was like looking at it earlier today. Yeah, that was so. I mean, it was so detailed and like it was like perfection, man.
Yeah, that's the type of person that's like if let's say he gets a volume, that volume cover is gonna go crazy. That volume cover is gonna go crazy.
It's insane.
Definitely.
Yeah, and he's done pretty cool stuff like that, like his in Saturday Annual, like the comic he had there. I forgot what it was called. I think it's Falsehoods or something like that. And the art was pretty stellar there as well. So this is Frank, another person who's come through the machine, and really proud of that. And with Fanboy, I like the name, I like the designs, I like the art. I was always gonna like the art because Frank is good. But beyond that, no idea. I don't know. It's about a Fanboy.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think that Frank deserves this for sure. He's been loyal to us for a while. He's been helping us out in the background and all that other stuff. And he's just a really good guy as well. I haven't actually met him, but everything I've heard about him, he just seems like a really cool, down to earth guy. And I think that this is going to be a really cool story. So.
Yeah, I know he met. I know Fred and him, and I think even Fred met. I actually don't want to put too much of that out. Actually, I'll let Fred talk about that if he wants to talk about that. But I'm excited to see what they do for sure.
I think if you go on our Instagram and scroll down far enough, you'll see like all of our conventions, and there's one where Frank is like on a live. So I think that's like the only time I've seen him. But like other than that, just hearing about him, he seems like a really cool guy. I think I've talked to him in a meeting once or twice, but yeah.
All right. Then for the next announcement is the Clock Striker Origins light novel, The Rights We Give. So, we had the Apple Black Origins light novel. That was a prequel to the events in the manga. I'm curious to see what this is. This one might just be a one-off story. I'm not sure, right? But I'll let Fred, as time goes on, reveal all these things. So that's another cool thing with us. Sometimes we still get to enjoy it like readers, like our supporters as well. So it's not like what some other artist is doing. I know exactly. Like I don't know how Hammer ends, for instance. You know what I mean? And so I'm going to experience it, some of it at least, right? Just like everybody else, which is part of the fun. Sometimes I don't want to be spoiled. But with this, The Rights We Give, that is the light novel. Very, very few details talked about. The story finds Cast alone trying to save her mentor, Miss Clock, from a past associate whose role in Miss Clock's life was not only devastating for her, but the world at large. That's all we got. What do you guys think?
I remember Fred saying a long time ago that it was going to focus a lot on Miss Clock. So I'm looking forward to it because I always thought the Philomena was a very interesting character based off of what I've read in the manga so far. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, I like the cyborg reveal in the books. Yes, that's all I'll say. If you guys want to learn more, go get our books. Go get all our books. Apple Black, Clock Striker, Hammer, the Saturday Wars, Saturday Annual, where there's like a Bully Eater story in there. So you know, learn and get acquainted with our characters. But Ray, what you got?
I mean, you know, it seems really dire actually. Like, because you know, he was like I was reading. I had to pause it because it went so fast, but I stopped the video to read the excerpts of it, like of her talking about how like she was going to save her no matter what. And I'm like, oh my god, what's happened to Miss Clock, man?
Yeah,
What's really good?
Fred's trying to make you cry, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, what's going on, Miss Clock, man? So, well, no, that's all I got. I mean, looking forward to it. Fred don't be telling us nothing, man.
Yeah, we not about this. So
Yeah.
you know, we'll figure it out when time goes on. He'll tell us when when we have to get involved at some point.
Oh yeah, we'll know all about it then, right? Yeah, we'll know all about it then.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so that's cool. And then now we have dropped partnering with Sun Studios, video game studio, who's done some work, at least some individuals involved have done some work with some other major Marvel versus Capcom stuff and all of that. It's all part of the team. They're all coming together to cook. And we are creating our own fighting game. It's a tag fighter. Trust me, the gaming community, they know their stuff. They're like, oh, you have what? Something inputs. I don't even know what they were talking about, but they were excited that we have that, or at least we're planning that. I don't even know what, I have no idea what that is, but we have a tag fighter, and I know a lot of fighting games are dropping right now. You got the Marvel, Token, something, the Invincible one. Obviously, Bleach dropped recently. You got the Hunter, and then you got Spark Zero, whatever. Like, there's so much going on. And then, obviously, the heavy hitters that have always been around. They were still around, like the Street Fighters and the Tekken. You see the sound? So, which is crazy. As soon as I said Street Fighter, it's like, is somebody programmed to play that when you hear that sound?
I was waiting for you to say something. I had my hand on the button the whole time.
You see, we need a soundboard. Y'all should help us with the budget. You know, support the channel.
Yeah.
Leave comments.
Yes.
Questions. Like the video. Subscribe if you're enjoying it, so that Raymond can push that button when I say Street Fighter. Okay. This could continue. 10. Now we need all that stuff. We need that. But anyways, we're getting a fighting game, which is one of the big things. You know, this is one of the stuff when you're creating your stuff. You dream about, right? And Lord knows I've thought about it so many times. It's like, oh, a Saturday AM fighting game where we battle each other's characters. I didn't necessarily know how that would work, but the fact that we're here is pretty awesome. And Sun Studios, that's pretty great. Again, these people who kind of paid attention to us for a while. I know some of them, they had all our books, pretty much. So they've been reading our stuff as well. So it's cool to not only have people making it, who are good at what they do, but also kind of fans of the characters and stuff like that. So it's just going to have more of an authentic touch to it. And we've shared some screenshots of cast, look great. Screenshots of Santa look great. Other characters, again, we're not going to share the list or anything like that. Those will be revealed over time. We're not going to be revealing things that we may know beyond what's already been announced. But for what's been announced with our award-winning heroes, you're all going to be in there kicking butt. Another kind of crossover-esque thing. It's our own fighting game. Very excited. Not many people think this is even possible. We're constantly entering spaces that are mostly occupied by the big companies, but we're proving we can do it. And when we do it, it actually makes it maybe a little bit easier for people coming after us. So hopefully you guys support the game when more details drop and just everything that we're doing. But the locations, the characters, all of that is going to be authentic and gangbusters. Make sure you guys go check that out. What do you guys think?
I mean, what blows my mind is I'm fortunate enough to actually work with Sun Studios. It's kind of like, the guy in the chair or whatever Spider-Man
Yeah,
said.
yeah.
And
I got it last long.
boom. And you know, it really blows my mind how passionate they are about our stuff. You know what I mean? Like they're telling me stuff about, you know, what they seen in the comics and like reference points, and they're, you know, they're nitpicking for us on little things, you know. And you know, as far as like, you know, how can we make sure this feels like the comic book and stuff like that, feels like the manga. Yeah, big ups to them. They are incredible. I mean, I couldn't think of a better partner to do this with than them. And they're passionate about fighting games too.
Oh,
They live it.
like the community, they love their fighting games.
Yeah.
They
yeah,
love their fighting games. Like you see, when the announcement was made, you got some pretty sizable accounts talking about like, oh, another fighting game and this, and then some. Yeah,
I'm getting a bunch of stuff. Like it's so kind of surreal because like I'm getting a bunch of stuff because I follow fighting games. I mean, I do. That's all I do. If I play games, 9 times out of 10 it'll be a fighting game. But like I follow a lot of this stuff, and I'm seeing, you know, what Gemitsu did a write up about us.
yeah, that's something fighting something, but yeah,
I think it was Game Facts.
Game
Game
Facts.
Facts. It wasn't Game Facts. It was one game. Oh man, I'm sorry. Don't quote me on that. But it's one of the ones that I see all the time. Anytime there's something new to come out with Street Fighter, because I remember the writer he dresses up like Joker from Persona 5. That's one thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, but seeing it pop up on my phone and stuff like that, like this is crazy. So I'm super excited, and I'm ready to give all y'all some L's. I mean, that's just sorry. I mean, we're cool now. I'm gonna enjoy being cool with y'all for now.
Yeah.
But I know as time goes on, when the game eventually comes out, I'm gonna feel the tension that y'all can be mad at me because y'all catching these hands.
Just for that comment alone, video game white is gonna come out. White gamer, white gamer is gonna come out. Don't play with me.
That's all right.
Don't play with me.
All right.
White gamer.
I am very excited for the game. You know, I think that it's definitely going to be, you know, really fun. This is a part of my dream coming true. So I'm very excited for that. I feel like I should preface the rest of my saying by saying I have 3% left on my phone. So if my phone turns off in the middle of this conversation, I am sorry. But
stay flexible, Jay. Like stay flexible.
You see?
Yeah.
Take your own advice.
Should have got my cord. But anyway, yeah, no, I'm very excited. I can't wait for this game to come out. I can't wait to see more characters. You know, I'm just super excited. Everything I've seen so far, all the cutscenes and everything that's been, you know, obviously it's all in the beta stage, but like it all looks really, really cool, and I'm very excited to see how this is all going to work out.
Yeah, and you know, as usual, we got some comments where I saw some too. Like again, it's been mostly positive, like vast majority mostly positive. You see some negative stuff about it's called Saturday AM Battle Manga. It's like, is this manga? And the usual stuff. And it's just like, okay. Actually, okay, Steven. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's just whatever, right? Because the people who we care about, the people who care about us, who are actually going to be fans of it, they're not having that debate, right? Even if they don't think it's manga or whatever, they don't care about that, right? It's irrelevant stuff because the people who we need to view it that way, they already do. People in Japan, the awards we're getting, they're manga awards, they're called manga awards. Japan calls it. We've had this debate so many times. I have no interest in it. But obviously, you get those kind of tweets, whatever. Usually, some anonymous account doesn't really say anything. Then there was one where it was a Street Fighter profile, and everybody was they're cooking this guy in the comments because it's like, ooh, diversity and stuff like that. But if you play Street Fighter or Tekken, it's all diverse.
Literally.
All diverse.
Yeah.
Everybody's the diverse fighting style, diverse characters, diverse, you know, diverse in every way. Every way. You get white American, white British.
You're flying in a little plane from America to Japan to Brazil to Thailand. I mean, world tour.
You know, they got animals in there. You got king, you got a tiger head.
Mm-hmm.
How diverse.
I remember that guy.
That is how diverse it is, bro. The ogre in Tekken is like, isn't it like is it Native American? I don't know. What's the Mayan or something like that?
Yeah, I think it was mine. The stage was mine.
Yeah, it's like it's all diverse. So like, what are you talking about? I think the word just triggers.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the word, and it's kind of like how.
Well, I think a lot of people hear the word diverse and they just say black. I'm like, that's not what.
Yeah.
So like that, I feel like that's what it is.
Yeah, and so it's like everybody's a snowflake, but you're the snowflake. Like one word, and all of a sudden, like something you've already been seeing it this whole time, but as soon as you hear the word, you just I am programmed to be angry now. I am programmed to be a troll or whatever. It's like it's weird, and so those people are always going to exist, and it's just good that again we're not crazy because they're getting cooked in the comments, so that's them. Nobody has to do anything. Not that we care that much, anyways. Generally, it's been received very well. It was already going kind of baby viral on Twitter before I even saw it, before I could retweet or do anything. So I'm excited about the video. It's going
just to get the Gemitsu tweet. I mean, last time I checked, it's probably more by now. But last time I checked, it was like a little over 400 like retweets.
It's like 4,000 likes. 4,000 likes.
And like almost it's probably. I mean, it should probably be at 500 or 600 retweets by now.
No, it's probably. I think it's like 1,000 retweets.
Oh dang! Okay, well,
and that's and that is compared to their other tweets. That's high for them.
Yeah.
From what I saw, that's actually very high. That's the highest for them in a long time. So I'm excited about that. You see people recognizing the characters, some people talking about, I've heard of Saturday AM, or I've heard of Apple Black, or I've heard of Clock Striker, and the game looks sick and stuff. And then there's some people who I've never heard of this, but it's like I'm down, right? So it's like we're definitely going to get people who've never heard of us who are still in. They just love fighting it.
Yeah, they just some people, once we said that we have motion inputs, they're in.
Yeah, so that's what they were called. I don't even know, what is that?
Like down forward punch, down back punch.
Doesn't every game have that?
What the plan is that like Hunter x Hunter, for example, Hunter x Hunter, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't have inputs. It has like a special move button. So if you want to do a special move, instead of you doing down forward punch, you'd press the special button and maybe a direction, and then that'd be special. And a lot of fighting game, myself included, I get it. Those type of games that they have their place, and they definitely have their fan base. But amongst casuals, but like the hardcore fighting game community, that's not enough depth for them. They want to be, they want to be putting in inputs.
Yeah, they want to put in overtime.
And plus, too, from a like a lot of the fighting game community, they like to use the sticks, the arcade stick. And what the problem is when you start adding all these buttons, like special move buttons and all that stuff, you can't get to it without like almost breaking your finger off to try to get to the button way on the end. So if you got motion inputs, that makes it so that you're only really using these fingers here. So.
You see, smart Raymond coming in with the input. I didn't know.
Hey, you get me talking about fighting games.
Smart Raymond coming in with the input. I didn't know about stuff. So here's what we're gonna do with the last announcement. Spoiler alert, we're partnered with Webtoon. But we're going to leave that for the next episode because there's a lot to cover. So hopefully you guys come back for that. And that's all we're going to do. We're going to talk about it and what that entails, how we plan on knocking stuff out. But real quick.
How to prep your work for it, too.
What?
And how to prep your work for it.
Exactly.
Webtoon is a whole new animal.
Yep. And so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And I'm excited about Webtoon. I'm sure everybody here is, but we'll leave that and that'll have its own episode of the podcast. And you guys can already go check out the details for that. I'm excited about that as well. I'm sure everybody here is. We're going to get Hammer. We're going to get Cloud Striker. Apple Black is going to be the first one to drop. And Gunhild, her stuff being fully in color already. She saw the future, bro.
Yeah, she did.
She saw the future. She saw the future.
Yeah.
Shout out to Fred Torninger. Shout out to Fred also for helping facilitate this deal amongst many things. It was also in part with some of his old connections. But I remember like 2 years ago, before even the Avatar Airbender was announced on Webtoon, I was like, yo, Fred. And we were in an Uber, and I was like, all the content we have, like, why can't we can strike a deal? Because we already had some connections to Webtoon. And so I was like, why can't we do something where we just kind of reformat old stuff to put it on Webtoon? And then Fred told me about the stuff that he already knew, that Airbender was coming. So this was even before they announced that. And so that's how long this has kind of been in the thoughts. And obviously, I'm not going to go into all the details about it because there were also some concerns and and whatever, and stuff they want to do. But I remember from jump, I was like, "Yo, this makes so much sense." We were on so many meetings, going back and forth about it, and now we know where Jay is. It's all good. But we're done here, and I said we will talk about this in more detail on Webtoon. You guys, again, support the podcast so that Jay's battery doesn't die. Jay's battery's died because we need 10,000 subscribers. We need those likes. We need those everything. If you guys like the video, Jay will still be here. This is your fault. I blame you guys. You guys don't like the video, Jay leaves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what. It's just that simple.
Yeah,
it's just that simple.
So outside of that, that's all we got for now. We'll talk more about the Webtoon. Ray, got anything to add before we close?
No. All exciting times. I'm fanboying over our stuff right now. We got so much cool stuff.
I see what you did there. I don't know if you see what you did there, but I see what you did. Okay.
I'm fan boying over our stuff right now.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Yeah, and I'm glad to have you guys. Anybody who's watching, I'm glad to have you guys on a journey with us. Stick with us. It's gonna be fun.
There's more to come. More announcements. More stuff is happening. You guys stay focused. If you guys are creating your own stuff, don't get distracted by people who've never created anything. Don't get distracted by stuff that is not going to feed your creativity and make sure you're productive. Don't get distracted by nonsense. Put your head down and get to work. And that's kind of how we are where we are. And honestly, we want to even put even more work, hence why we're doing the podcast. So really, for real, hopefully you guys support it and like the channel, subscribe, leave comments, questions you guys may have. But yeah, that's all we got for the podcast. Ray, any last words?
We're up out of here, I guess, right? Thanks for being on. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
See you next time.
When the game comes out, everybody will main Sano, so Sano cooks everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I'm gonna go around the world on y'all. I'm gonna use everybody. That's how nice I am in fighting games. I'm gonna use everybody.
You'll be so good that's like, hey man, Ray, you know what? Don't use cast. Use
I'm gonna do you one better. I'm gonna help y'all out and just do random select every time.
Just keep this energy. Because if I cook you in one game, in one round, I don't want to hear it anymore.
Yeah. You gonna put the controller down. I'm done. Bro.
Yeah,
I'm done.
If I cook you in any way, just keep the same energy. But anyways, peace, guys.